Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. As always, we have security here. We're keeping Soapy Pre-Op out, I think, or whoever else was behind the attack again on the 2-year anniversary show. We're still not really sure who that was. But we also want to say big ups to the Free Jacks. 5-1. Huzzah. Let's go get that. But my guest this week is Josh Lee. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Really
Absolutely.
excited about this. So let's get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So born and raised in Manchester. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And still living there today?
Yes. Yeah. Still in Manchester. In Candia a lot, but mainly Manchester. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And what high school was that?
Manchester Central.
Ah,
So, yes.
Central.
Yes. I always get that.
Very good football team.
Yeah, we had a good football team at the time. Baseball was good my last year. Other than that, it was kind of rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where Adam Sandler went?
Central? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Central. I remember we wrestled them. I think we used to beat them there, but I always remembered Central as just being a juggernaut football program.
Yes. Yeah. Usually very good. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now and then this might be a tough one for you. I know we were talking about this off air.
Yeah.
What's 3 things that everybody should know about you?
I love baseball, love the sport. Pretty laid back guy, I guess. And I also really like to play softball. So it can be a downfall sometimes, but I love it. Yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot about that because we
yeah.
know you're big in the softball community. Yeah. Now, here's the toughest question, and we ask everybody this. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But what does it mean to you to be an American?
To me, it's the freedom and the choice, I would say. You have a lot of freedom to do what you want. You have a lot of choice to also do what you want. There's a lot of opportunity. And that's probably the biggest thing to me is that and just the pride in being American. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, again, it does mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right.
You know, we're all starting on a different base. You know,
yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
But good answer. Always
Yeah.
love to hear what people say about that.
Yeah.
We want to get into softball because we know that you have a big impact on it. We've had a lot of softball people on the show. How did you start playing? Because I know you were a baseball player growing up. How did you make the transition to being a softball player? Like, how did that start?
So Matt Parmenter, I grew up with that family. We would always go down to My Social Sports and we would watch, I think it was every Sunday. So I think we would spend the weekends with them. I saw My Social Sports. I was like, oh, I really want to get into this when I'm all set with baseball. And then come 2018, maybe 2019 is when I actually got into playing. And I think I started on ASB.
Okay.
Matt will tell you I struck out 3 times in one game. I don't think that's true. I don't recall. I feel like that's something I remember. But yeah, I did strike out my first game though. Swinging.
Hey, it can happen.
Yeah, it does happen. It's an adjustment.
Now, Matty P, I've never heard his name actually said. So how do you say Matty P's last name?
Parmenter.
I've been saying it wrong for years.
Yeah, you have.
I think Paramita is what I've said. Or meter.
There's
Yeah.
Parmenter. Some people like to joke around and say parking meter, stuff like that.
Maddie, I know it's like to have a tough name to pronounce. Yours is probably actually easier than mine. I
would
still
say
mess
so.
it up.
It's Bolio, right?
Bollier is how
Bollier,
we
okay.
say it, but
That makes sense.
most people just say Bolio, and
Yeah.
I stopped taking offense to that probably in about like 2nd grade.
Oh, of course.
I went, okay,
Yeah.
this is how people are going to say my name.
Yeah, hard to mess mine up.
Did you grow up with his son? Or
Matty P. Yep.
Okay.
Matty P. and Cody Brazier, his cousin.
Yeah.
So that's why I would spend most of my weekends with them. Is actually I would mostly hang out with Cody, and then I started to know Matty a little bit more too. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So that makes sense. Okay, I never knew that.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
What was the toughest transition from baseball to softball?
The swing for sure. I mean that and the mindset. I guess anytime I would show up to play, it was try to hit it as far as I could, and with that baseball swing, I was just popping up. Everything was going to the pitcher or shortstop, and I felt like I was more of a liability to the team than anything. So that's why I started to grind a little bit more to learn the more of the cut swing, you would say. Yeah. I think that was the biggest adjustment for sure.
I agree. I mean, I was told even until I was like 28, oh, you have a baseball swing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, it's working.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it does to an extent,
Yeah.
for sure. You can definitely get your base hits, but when you try to do more with the ball is where it gets harder. Yeah.
Yeah, and was there anybody that you kind of like looked at or was it like you just kind of learned this yourself? Was like, okay, this is what I have to do, or was there,
So I started watching a couple of YouTube videos or YouTube channel, Ken Van Bogart on YouTube.
Okay.
He has a whole channel, a lot of good stuff. But I think the first team I ever watched play was Bad Beat. And I watched them and I was like, wow, that's crazy how they play. And specifically Ben Call with his swing. Very
Great
nice
player.
swing. Yeah,
Great player.
Exactly. And he helped me out quite a bit too in adjusting to the swing. So.
Yeah, I mean, Bad Beat. I mean, so they won Worlds in 2016. I want to say
that, yeah, as an E team.
I gotta say, I think they helped explode tournament softball in this area because I don't remember anybody really playing much tournaments. And I've had Ryan on the show and we talked about this, but until Bad Beat and then New Coat, I think both won Worlds because New Coat had a co-ed team. I didn't know that many people playing tournament softball.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was definitely before my softball time, but yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, they definitely. I think they were a big part of softball growing around here.
Yeah.
Now you also sell softball gear.
Yep.
And you're probably the guy I want to go to for softballs for the Sunday Co-ed League. So we'll have to talk about that off air.
Okay. Yeah.
How'd you get involved with that?
So again, Matty P. One day we were just sitting at the field. I think it was Wolf Park, and Keith Bunnell had walked by, and I had told him that I wanted to get into it. So he kind of hooked me up with Keith, and then he put me under him. I started doing raffles on his page. I wanted to go out and do my own thing, so I got with Smash It Sports, and then started doing it from there. So yeah.
And you do bats, balls.
So I used to. I actually just recently stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I can still get a good deal on softball. So.
Okay, so we'll have to chat
still
about
talk.
that.
Yeah.
Are the raffles tough to like? Because I don't even know how it works. So like, how does that work? How do the raffles work?
I mean, so it depends on the bat, I guess. Most raffles are 9 numbers, $35 each. So it equals out to about $315. They're just kind of hard to fill these days, I feel like. I feel like a couple years ago when I had first started, it was a lot easier, but I feel like it dried out a lot. But I mean, they just send the payment, you add them to the list, and then you run a raffle on like random.org.
Okay.
And then you do it from there. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but you get used to it. You can do them, record it, and then do that for like 2 minutes. It's really easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like that though. Like, I never really did the raffles because I was like, well, I'll probably lose.
Right.
Maybe I'll just go buy a bat, but I know they were a hit. And I know Kevin Hill, I don't know if he's still doing that.
He definitely still does it.
He does? Okay. But definitely gets people like better equipment than what they might have had.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've played quite a few raffles, and I tried to avoid them as much as I could because I knew that I would try to keep winning, even though I don't have the best luck with stuff like that. Yeah, it's tough. It's I think I won twice, and that's about it. So
I mean, I would take that.
Yeah.
Then there's some people that are like, oh, I won like 6 times. I'm like, all right, dude, just
some people get on hot streaks. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't understand. Matty P, he does well sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're buying more. I don't know. What do they call it? Tickets or
numbers, spots.
Just numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that for years and been like, man, I should probably do this sometime and get a decent. I like the bats I have, but I feel like I end up using other people's probably more.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I am now. I used to have like 14 bats, but I sold most of them because I was like, I really don't need this many bats. This many bats.
Now, question for you, and I talked with Ryan, the director of U-Trip. I think it's very interesting to talk about because we're seeing expansion of softball across the state. Mm-hmm. I've talked about this on the show with the Franklin League growing.
Yes.
Where do you see the future of Southern New Hampshire softball going? Like, do you keep seeing it growing? Is the bubble going to burst with tournaments? Like, it has definitely grown so much since I've started playing.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar because I've only been playing for a few years at least, travel ball wise. But it's consistent, I would say. And I hope it stays like that at least. Even to see more teams in the upper levels, you have a lot of E teams, you have a lot of D teams, and then that's where it kind of plateaus at. But I definitely would say there's been a lot of growth for sure. In the future, I hope it's the same. I just don't know if my age group is really getting into it as much. Down here, at least.
Well, I've always said you are the future,
Yes.
and I love that nickname.
I love it.
We need more people coming through because I think you're right. If they don't,
Yeah.
what's going to happen in 5-10 years from now?
Exactly. And I think it kind of ties into baseball also not being as popular as it used to be. And then they see softball and they're like, oh, that's whack, like whatever. But I would like to see more of the younger demographic getting into it just because it's a fun game. So
I totally agree. I started playing when I was 20 in college,
Yep.
and haven't looked back on it.
Yep.
But I do remember when I was working the schools, and I would tell the kids I played baseball. Yeah, I play softball now. They're like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
They're like, "You don't." I'm like, "Listen, you hit an age and you can't play base. You don't." I played baseball one time in an over 25 league, and I remember one pop up, and I was like scared to death. Like.
Yeah. I do miss baseball, but I would say I have much more fun in softball.
Yeah, and it's more relaxed. It's
Yeah.
not as, a baseball field does feel huge now.
Yeah, I mean, I go to hit BP on a baseball field, and it's kind of tough sometimes.
It's like giant.
Yeah.
I'm like, I used to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's wild.
No, but great answer. I agree. I do agree. E's and D's are going to be what we're primarily going to do around here. I think Bad Beat was the only ones that could really get to that level. I know, and I don't like to say their name on the show, but TITS. Yeah. TITT. Yeah. S. Anyways, we know what they are.
Yeah.
Throw it to third. That was
Okay.
probably the best co-ed team that
Yeah,
I had seen.
quite impressive. Yeah.
So, but anyways, you got a lot of fan questions, so we want to get into this. First one from Jason Griswold, and I believe he plays for the Narwhals.
Narwhals, yes. Yep. And then he also, I'm pretty sure, maybe Grizzly. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I've seen Jason around for a while, talked to him, but he wants to know, what's your favorite dinosaur from Land Before Time?
I had to refresh my mind.
As
on
Justin's
that
laughing in the background. That's the first Land Before Time reference
I
on
would
the
go
show.
Spike.
Spike?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not as familiar with that movie.
I'm not either. So I had to refresh myself a little bit
Okay.
on it. I had to do a little bit of research in the last week, but I would say Spike.
Any reason we think Jason asked that question?
I have
or-
no idea.
So that's
It
just
definitely caught me off guard.
okay. All right, Jason. I thought it was an inside joke. Apparently, it's
No,
not.
definitely not.
From Orlando, and I know Orlando. He runs the Ville.
Yeah.
Apate.
Aponte? I have
Aponte.
no idea.
Sorry,
I'm with you.
Orlando.
Sorry,
Correct
Coach.
us in the comments. But does he think he's overrated?
Absolutely. Yeah. That one actually is kind of an inside joke from Worlds. It's a whole situation I don't want to really get into.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say I'm overrated.
I don't think you're overrated.
I appreciate that.
I have to say, one of the coolest things ever that I played, and I know a lot of people dogged on the Sunday League last year, but in the championship, we busted our asses to win
That
that
was
thing.
amazing. Yeah.
How we did it when we never were winning still boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And then when you hit that home run, which was like a monster shot,
Yeah.
I don't think I felt like I could compare it to pure joy that I've had for the Patriots
Right.
and the Red Sox and the Celtics and
Yeah.
whatever, but that was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can definitely relate to that because it was a 3-game series. Every game went into extra innings. And I think Brandon had said last night on the coaches meeting, we were down by 18. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was surreal. It was really cool, honestly.
I can't believe that because they were like, it's going to be the mercy rule. And we're like, no. And then we came back and scored enough runs to not get mercied.
I'm with you. I have no idea how we did it.
It was at one point when we lost game one. I go, okay, all right, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna really do this? And then we were getting beat in game two. We came back and won.
Yeah.
We were getting beat in game three. We came back and won. Like, I've never seen momentum shift like that.
It was crazy. I don't know what happened, but I'm very glad it did.
I did post the video of you hitting that home run, and
Yes.
that was one of the best things. Like, even now I watch that, I'm like, yeah, like,
Yeah, it was awesome.
J.R. Sexton has a question too. He's got a few, but he was a former guest of the show.
Yeah.
He wants to know, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is definitely a cheeseburger.
Okay.
Or, yeah, just a cheeseburger, preferably with bacon on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Any specific place that you like to get that?
Not anymore. I used to go to Five Guys all the time, but I think I kind of made that run its course.
Okay.
For sure. Just anywhere, honestly. Maybe Tuckaway Tavern. Their whole Tuckin Farm burger. It's like a big piece of hamburg, then a big piece of chicken, like fried chicken, and then bacon on top of it.
Oh, Jesus.
With their sauce on it. So it's a lot, but it's good.
Everywhere I go, people are talking about Tuckaway Tavern.
Yeah.
And I've never been there, but I've, like, is the hype real for that place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, I don't like to overhype stuff because I feel like that kills it a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough because they don't do reservations and they don't do takeout anymore, at least last I checked. And it's usually at least like an hour and a half wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard for years. What town is that in, too?
That's in Raymond.
Raymond, okay.
Yeah. If it says anything, I did wait an hour and 45-minute once, but it was a while before I had it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have to get there because, honestly, I've heard this so many times where everybody's like, this is the place to go, and I've never been.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, but the food it's good.
Yeah, once in a while, right?
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gio Rivera, another former guest.
Yep.
Give me a big smile for the camera.
Got you, Gio. He's a good guy.
I love Gio.
Yeah.
He was an awesome guest. Great player, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think did he just have another baby?
He did.
He
just
did, yeah.
a few months ago. Not too sure how long.
Yeah.
But I give him a lot of crap, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Gio. Everybody loves Gio.
Absolutely.
Brian McCarthy wants to know, who has taught him the most about being a better player, and why is it Maddie? Say it one.
Maddie Parmenter.
Maddie, I am sorry. I don't know why I've said parameter
Yeah.
for so long, but yeah, go ahead.
That's really tough. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think it was one person. I would say it would be those two who taught me a lot. Anthony Cyrus taught me a lot. Ben Call, I've talked to him quite a bit. But it's just more or less just watching the game. Just watching how a lot of, I guess you could say, the better players play the game. And just kind of taking notes on that, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm sorry. And you said again, how many years has it been now? 3, 4?
3.5, 4.
Yeah.
Also, I would definitely say J.R. Sexton too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't forget that. Yeah. So it hasn't been too long, and like I said, only a couple years since I started taking it serious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's good. And I know Maddie. He's made to be a coach. I think like he fits that role really well.
Yeah, he does do it well.
You know.
Yep.
This was a controversial thing that I had to address on Facebook.
Yeah.
From Jesse DeLay, I'm sorry. Jesse never, again, messing up on last names.
I'm
Jesse
not sure
he never corrected me until his son was on the show. Did you get your NWO sweatshirt?
Unfortunately, I did not. I'm not happy about it, but I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. It is what it is. Stuff happens. So
yeah, and I made it clear on Facebook. Greg didn't walk away with any money
course.
or anything like that. And I told Jesse, I said, "Can we not do this publicly?
yeah.
Let's talk this privately.
Yeah.
No one took any money. It's just, I think he had a hard time getting the guy to do it.
I think so. Yeah.
And it got to the point where he's like, I don't want to sit with this check anymore. He ripped up the check. Now I just got to write him a new one, and whatever Jen decides to do, fine with me. But yeah, Jesse, let's keep that off Facebook. Private message, text, please.
And I'm sure in the group chats you had seen me message every once in a while out of the random,
Yeah.
hey, Greg Kelly, what's going on?
Yeah.
Me and him go back and forth all the time, but it's nothing serious. It happens.
Now, Greg's a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He's a good guy.
Steve Dovich, the head of My Social Sports, wants to know, how does it feel to be left out of group chats?
Well, Steve, I can tell you it doesn't feel good. As a coach, I think you should know better, but I'm glad you figured it out.
It's his birthday today, too.
It is. Happy birthday, Steve.
Yeah,
I'm
happy
sorry I had to
birthday,
say that to
Steve.
you
Yeah.
on your birthday. But no, he's a good guy. I've come closer with him. We had some issues at the start. He'll know what it is. But yeah, he's a good dude.
No, I think Steve does a great job.
Absolutely.
And we talked about this on the show before. The Heartbreakers, no one could have predicted. Well, we could have predicted there would be bad weather, but he saved that tournament from just completely tanking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the amount of people that attack him, he does very well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, big shout out to Steve. I think we all appreciate, what he does
Yeah.
there. So,
Absolutely.
Brett Bellerose. Why doesn't he have a Ville jersey on
That was
in
the
the picture we used there?
That was the best softball picture I had, unfortunately. And I don't think I really had any pictures taken of me when I was at any Ville tournaments. So
In Orlando's the coach.
yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Where is the Ville based out of Lowell?
yes,
Okay.
yep. That's exactly what it is.
What was that experience going down with? Like, how did they recruit you? Because that obviously you're not a Lowell guy.
No, so I mean, throughout my couple years in softball, I've become close with like Bones and a lot of people on the Ville, pretty much almost everybody. And one tournament in, I want to say Mass, I don't remember where it was. I went over there, we were all talking, and I kind of wanted to go over there regardless, just because I liked who they were, and there were some issues, with everything else. So that's how it really happened. We just started talking, and then Bones was on me every day, messaging me, Bigville guy, stuff like that. So, yeah,
How was going to Florida with them?
it was good.
What was how'd you guys, I didn't see.
We didn't do as well as we expected. I think we placed in the 30s.
Okay.
Which is, it's decent. We made a little good run at the end. There was some interesting things going on, but it was good. It was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they had you guys had a lot of success
Yeah.
locally this year. I do want to give a shout out to Brett Bellerose because I think he's a great player, and he's like you. He's very humble.
Yeah.
I've never seen Brett act like an a-hole or anything
No,
like that.
never. He's definitely not that guy.
So,
No.
big shout out to Brett. JR is back. We got two more questions from JR.
Okay.
USSA or ASA? I think it's called USA Softball now.
USA softball.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't really know if I have a preference, honestly. If it's true USA and then true USSSA, it's pretty much the same game to me. I would say the only advantage is in USA, there's the brand Monster Bats, which I love, and I can use them there, and they're really good bats. But I wouldn't say I prefer either one, honestly.
I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
I used to always be such a hardo about U-Trip.
I feel like that's where it usually is, the hardos is
Yeah.
U-Trip. Yeah, but
Because I remember the first time I played U-Trip and I hit this monstrous home run because the bats are a little more juice than the balls, and I was like,
yeah.
why couldn't I do this before?
Yeah.
And then as I've learned more about softball,
Yeah.
the bats are better there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with a Monster Bat and an ASA ball, I've still hit the ball well further, like way further. But that's just because those bats are pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've never. Well, I guess I haven't played Pinnacle. I played Pinnacle U-Trip last year, so I haven't really
Okay.
played much ASA in the last couple of years. But I've heard the bats are getting better.
Yeah, I mean the bats. There's a few brands that have pretty good bats. I would say other than that, they're all the same. But
I know people ask me that too. They're like, because they're like, "What's the difference?" And I go, "I think just the bats and the balls." But then like a pitcher will be like, "Nope, different arc on this one and that." I'm like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, it should be the same.
Yeah.
Or roughly the same. It should be coming in around the same angle. It should be the same. I think even in real USA, I don't even think there's a mat.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think there is. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if someone asked me the actual like, what's a strike in softball, I'd be like, I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Swing away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been.
Yeah.
One more from JR. Can I get the first autograph since you're big time? LOL.
Absolutely, JR.
JR, maybe we'll frame a picture of this and you can sign it for
Yeah,
me.
I'll definitely do that for him.
From Nicole McGrady. When you eventually hit puberty, will you be even stronger?
I hope so. I hope that's how it goes.
Nicole coming in there hot.
Yeah,
Is
that was
'cause,
unexpected, but I appreciate it.
But thanks for the question, Nicole. Andrew Watt wants to know, and he posted a video today about something about not hitting home runs and just hitting for getting on base.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think a lot of people, I don't know, like I don't feel like a lot of people are big on home runs anymore. I think it's about getting on base, and
I feel like that dynamic has, in my eyes at least, changed a lot. But I think that could be because I've changed a lot as a player too. I just want to get on.
Yeah.
If I hit a home run, cool. Like, I definitely want to be more of a on base guy than anything.
Well, I'd seen someone post something, and this brings me back to Brett Bellerose, where they said Brett had said, "Get the bat to the next person," and I was like, "Wow, I really like that saying. That's true."
Yep.
You know,
Put the pressure on the next guy. Yeah. He says that too, I think.
if everybody is doing their role, then home runs. Especially if you're playing E's too. Like, what do you get? One.
One. Yeah. Exactly.
So,
and then they're inning ending.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely don't want to do that. But anyways, he wants to know, which do you prefer, being the best? No, I'm sorry. This is Andrew Watts. The next question. This is from Rich Birkland. Which do you prefer, being the best player on a losing team or being the worst player on a winning team?
I was actually thinking about that question when I saw it. So, of course, everybody wants to be on a winning team, but I'd rather be an asset to the team. So if I had to choose between the two, I think I would still choose that, because I don't think I would want to be the best person on a losing team, because that doesn't really get you anywhere. Sure, you can say you're good, but that doesn't really get you anywhere. If I had to choose between the two, I would say winning team, worst player. If I could compromise, I would probably go average player on average team.
No, I get that. I mean, that's a very interesting question, because I like winning.
Yeah.
I think we all like winning.
Of course, yeah.
But we all have egos
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So it's like, but that is a really good question.
It is a good question. I definitely struggled with that for a little bit, but I don't think I would ever want to be the best player on the worst team. Yeah.
Yeah, because I will say in rec softball, when that worst team is bad, it's really bad.
Yeah, because then what does it bring? Sure, you go 4 for 4 every weekend, but you're losing by 18, so it's like, it's tough.
And I've definitely seen that. I've seen people that I knew were like D1 baseball players playing on teams that were really bad, and they would do all these things, but the rest of the team, and you go, oh, that's gotta.
Yeah, and I think that kind of gets frustrating too when you're playing your heart out, and then it's just that outcome. Yeah.
And I feel like those players, they stop playing their heart out.
I would say so, yeah.
But it all depends on the league that you're in. Like, if you're playing My Social Sports, you shouldn't be too worried about that.
Exactly. Yeah. I play My Social. I have really fun in that league. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, when I play that, I don't care if I'm on the best team.
Yep.
I'm just there to, like, let's have a good time.
Exactly.
Which is what all softball should be, but we all know that doesn't always turn out that way.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
But from Andrew Watt, I do have his question. Fortnite or Call of Duty?
I would say Call of Duty, and I don't really think it's a comparison, especially with the way that Fortnite's gone in the past couple of years. Sure, it's a very popular game, but it's just definitely not for me. Call of Duty is a great game.
Can I ask what Fortnite is? Because I honestly no idea. Justin, do you know what that is? I have no idea.
So, I mean, I don't know. So when it first started, it was like that Battle Royale game, one person and it's everybody versus everybody. You try to be the last person alive. And then they started going like the building route. So like you like come across somebody, they build like a huge fort in like 2 seconds, and then you're dead because you're trying to shoot them, and they're 3 stories high shooting at you. I think that's the big difference between like most games in Fortnite.
So I never got past Sega, full disclosure. I was horrible at video games. I think I quit when Bobby, my brother, beat me in Mortal Kombat. Pretty sure I smashed the system and was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think you would like Fortnite.
No, I probably can't handle video games. I'd probably break the system.
Yeah, but I can say the same thing with Call of Duty. There's a lot of hardos in that game too. So.
Well, don't they have the headsets where they like trash each other too?
Oh, it's brutal. Yeah. I can tell you some things I've heard on there that you would never think.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There was one time my brother gave me his headset and just said, talk trash to these people for like a half hour. I was like, all right, yeah.
It's fun. It's not for me anymore. More in like the PlayStation 3 days, a little bit younger, but yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I know there's a whole community of it. But, and not a question, but some comments from Dave Cooley. We all love Dave, former guest. Not a question, just a comment. He really likes you. So I just want that to be clear. Keeping you, the way you approach the game and play is how the game should be played. Play hard and let your play do the talking. Bad call, close call, good call. You just keep going. Thank you. It's fun watching someone with your talent grow. Sky's the limit for you. Good luck in 2022.
First things first, I just want to say thank you for that because that means a lot, especially coming from somebody like him. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to play the game with respect or argue calls. There's just no reason for it because at the end of the day, it's softball, and if you get beat by a bad call, then it probably wasn't the bad call that got you beat.
No, I agree. And I've had many umpires on the show.
Yep.
And I go, thank you for doing what you do because I know it ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know, especially when a lot of people in softball do think that they're reliving some things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would agree. And it's tough because a lot of the times I see somebody try to argue something. If I can try to calm them down, I'm like, hey, it's not worth it. They're either not going to change your mind or they're going to throw you out of the game. It's just not worth it. Like, sure, you might disagree, and sure, it might be really aggravating, but at the end of the day, it's just not worth it.
what do you think are some of the toughest calls to make? Is it balls and strikes, or do you think? I mean, I have to say, in all the years I've played, I have never seen anything that I thought was so over the top of a blown call. Anything that you think that's the hardest to do?
I've definitely seen some very blatant blown calls. I would say anything that has to do with first base.
Okay.
Maybe sliding into second base, something that they can't really see. But then you have to think about it. They can't see that well, especially as one umpire on the field. Balls and strikes, not so much. I feel like if you argue that, then it's a little silly. But
And we had Rhino on the show,
Yeah.
right? And we talked about what went. I don't know if you saw the video that happened at the Plex.
Oh my God.
And I don't really know what to say to that type of stuff.
that was absurd. The fact that I don't know if the team was playing, right?
The
That
game was still
happened.
going. Yeah.
The fact that that team didn't stop that person from doing that says a lot about the team, I would say. I would say there's definitely no need for that. That was way over the top. Say what you have to say if you're that upset, and then just walk away. They're humans too, so just to put somebody down like that, it's just silly.
It made me sick a little bit, and I know that the guy that did it he's high up in
Yeah,
that
I know.
state, so it makes you wonder, like, okay, if the higher ups are acting like that,
Yeah.
what else is going on?
Exactly, and you should set an example, especially if you're that high up. Regardless, doesn't need to be done. To throw it, I'm going to call it a temper tantrum. To throw a fit like that, it's not needed, especially in softball where it's already hard to get umpires.
That's a big.
Yeah.
I've known a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to do it,
Yeah.
and they're like, nah, maybe I don't.
Well, yeah, it's because I think the main thing that stops people is the way that players react to umpires. Yeah.
No, I agree, and that's why I give a big shout out to Cooley, Dean, Sloan.
Yep.
There's so many of them, so many great umpires that we all have, and I just want to say we really do appreciate you guys,
Yeah.
and that will never be tolerated in the Sunday Co-ed League.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Never.
I would say sometimes I'll go up to umpires afterwards and like try to see what they saw or thought they saw. If I really disagree with it, I'll talk to them, but I'll never get angry.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like,
Yeah.
we're adults playing softball.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I have a sports question for you, and I want to get your take on this.
Yeah.
Well, first, how do you feel about Manfred as the commissioner of baseball?
I think he's a fool.
Okay, so we're in
Yeah.
agreement here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you say he's good for the sport, I don't know what you're looking at.
I miss Bud Selig.
Yeah.
Like, I used to dog on Selig. I
Yeah.
remember, like, when the All-Star game ended in a tie, and everybody was like, that's it. Especially it was the team that he used to own or was a part owner of. But, man, I didn't know how bad it could get.
Yeah, it's rough. Like I don't understand. That's all.
Don't you? I want a commissioner that likes the sport.
Should be how it is. I feel like that should be the main thing is if the person likes the sport.
Which gets me to this. They're going to bring it back. What do you think of the runner on second in extra innings?
I hate it. I thoroughly dislike it. I think it's silly. It takes a part of the strategic part of the game, in my opinion, because that's just putting a runner on base. It's silly.
I hate it too.
Yeah,
I
and
absolutely do.
anytime I come across it, like in in softball, it kind of frustrates me. But I'm like, whatever. Every league does it now,
Yeah.
so I dislike it so much.
It's one thing for us to do it in softball. It's another for it to be in like Major League Baseball.
No, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think it's very silly because it feels like one of those rec league style
Yeah.
rules.
Like we're
doing
trying to
that.
hurry this up. You know?
Why? Like,
Yeah.
there's no rush to be out of the game. What, takes the game another half an hour?
Would you say you're a baseball purist?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt like I know the games are long,
Mm-hmm.
but I hate every time they make a change.
Yeah.
I really do.
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't like a lot of the changes that they're doing. Some of them are just silly. Some of them have nothing to do with the game. I get that games are long, but that's the sport. It's always been like that. So if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I'm at a game, I want it to go longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will say after playing softball, it makes it harder to watch a baseball game because the softball games are like so quick.
Yeah.
But then like a baseball game drags on, but that's the sport.
You could never do tournament baseball the way we do tournament softball.
I was actually just thinking about the other day, and I mean, I played tournaments, but not to the extent of like what we do. No.
No way.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
no way you could do that.
Yeah, it was like a 3 or 4 day tournament.
Yeah.
For baseball. Yeah.
And that's something I do like. Again, I like about softball. We are keeping moving, but as a baseball fan, I don't like them keep changing the game.
Absolutely not. No way.
I want to do some top fives here. Do you have a top 5 favorite movies?
I don't know if I have 5. So let's go with. Do you know the Bad Boy series? Of course.
Cena,
I'll try to
I
group
think I
all
own
3 of
them
those
all.
in together. Yeah. Designated Survivor. That's on Netflix. That's a pretty good one. I'm sure there's gonna be one I forget. I wrote some down on my phone.
Yeah.
If I can check.
Yeah, of course.
Let me check that real quick because I'm.
No, we don't allow. No.
Let's see.
I do love the Bad Boys. I thought that was like 2 of the greatest 2 guys to put together.
Yeah. My other favorite movie would be End of Watch. Not
Okay.
many people have seen that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie about 2 cops. I won't give anything up, but I would say watch it. It's a good movie. And then like the Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. Those movies I would like a lot too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we always like to, and we do that a lot to give recommendations because people are always looking for recommendations.
Yeah.
What about TV shows?
I think my favorite TV show would be The 100.
Okay.
That's on Netflix as well. I don't know if that's a Netflix exclusive. I don't think it is. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it.
No, it's really good. It's about these teenagers that get sent down back to Earth to see if it's good, and then it goes from there. It's a really long
Okay.
show, but it's really good. Takes a little bit to get onto, but it's a good show. My favorite, personally.
Nice.
Other than that, I would say Shameless.
I know what Shameless is. I haven't seen it.
It's wild.
It's-
That's all.
it's
it
that
is.
good?
Yeah, it's not one of those shows you necessarily have to pay attention to, but there is a storyline. It's definitely a wild show. Yeah.
Nice.
Other than that, I would say The Office, of course. I mean,
Can't go wrong.
How could you hate that show? There's no way that you can hate that show. And then Designated Survivor. I said that was a movie, didn't I?
I think so.
I think that's a
Yeah.
show. That's
Okay.
a show. Yeah.
Sometimes gets confusing
yeah.
with Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah. But that would be my top 5 for both. Yeah.
Curious. Have you ever seen Ozark? Have you seen Ozark at all?
I tried to watch it. I didn't really get into it. No.
Really?
But is it one of those shows that starts slow?
I thought the first episode punches you in the face.
Really? I'll have to try to rewatch it.
I watched it all in one week because I had heard like people hyping it up, and I was like, and then I started watching and I couldn't stop. And then all of a sudden it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, why am I still up doing this?
Yeah. I'll have to check it out. I mean, it's really hard for me to watch shows. I don't have the attention span to watch shows. I try, but yeah.
And I always found myself just rewatching stuff. As everybody knows, I watch this show. I've rewatched Sopranos. I couldn't even tell you how many times at this point. So
Yeah.
Do you have a top 5 favorite baseball players of all time?
Yeah, for sure. I would go with David Ortiz, of course.
Can't disagree there.
Mookie Betts is there. Mike Trout, Ken Griffey Jr., and then a little bit before my time of like remembering it, but Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was at his Hall of Fame induction.
Were you?
And I will be at Ortiz's as well.
Absolutely.
I want a freaking statue of both of them at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So wait, how old were you when they broke the curse?
What year was it? That
04.
was that was 04, so that was 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dating myself here.
Yeah.
That was the greatest moment ever. I
Yeah.
never thought it was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
There was times in my life where if I saw a Yankees hat, I was literally like, I want to fight that person.
Yeah.
And then when we actually won, it was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, and I know we swept the World Series, but beating the Yankees was like, after being down by 3 games, was like something I'll never see again in my lifetime.
Yeah, and I've definitely watched a lot of clips and stuff, and I could just tell in the atmosphere that it was the biggest thing of all time.
I'm not gonna lie, the year before we lost, like
Yeah.
when we beat the Yankees, like I was like, there was tears in my eyes.
Oh, of course,
I'm not gonna lie, like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's surreal.
Do you have a top 5 softball players in New Hampshire right now?
It's kind of tough, honestly, because there's a lot of people. I would have to go with more or less people that I've seen up close. So I'd go Ben Call,
Okay.
Mike Gallo, and then Tyler Barrett. I don't know if I have 5, honestly. I would say it's tough.
No, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
But I think I thought you were the perfect person to ask that.
Yeah, if I'm going to go outside of New Hampshire, I would include Angelo Roman on the
Okay.
team. He's probably one of the best players I've ever seen.
Is he on the Ville or?
He used to be. I think he's playing with Diamond Cutters this year.
Okay.
Or I'm not sure what their name is, but he's with them this year. Yeah.
Yeah, the only one I know who Ben Call is. I think he's a great player. Does he run part of Merrimack?
Yep, he does now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what his title is in there, but yeah.
Because I saw he did a post. I'll be there once a week this year, which
Okay.
I'm excited for that. So
Playing?
yeah,
Nice.
my work schedule is now allowing me to have one night that I can do it. So
Cool. That's good.
I'm not gonna. I don't think it'll be a big impact
I mean, you'd
in
be
the playoffs,
surprised.
but at least for the regular season.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, it's probably one of the best leagues I've played, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype. I was talking to someone today though, and do you feel does Merrimack's the league sometimes? Do people come off a little bit like we're the best, almost snobby a little bit
I don't know about
when they're
snobby.
talking about other leagues?
I would definitely say I've never heard anybody involved with Merrimack say that they're not the best.
Yeah. I was getting into this with Schulte one night, and I was just like, I think it's great. I think the league is great.
Yeah.
But it starts to get to the point where it's like, all right, guys, we get it. It's a
Yeah.
great league. That doesn't mean every other league sucks and
No.
shouldn't exist.
I think in my eyes, I think a lot of it are jokes.
Yeah.
But I think it is the best league around here, at least, for men's, at least. I don't think there's many men's leagues anyways.
Manchester's men's leagues died.
Yeah.
And it's sad. They were thriving for years, and
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a great league, and I love that they do the All-Star game with Rochester.
Rochester.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I played on there last year. I think I played on the B team because I think I was the second game. Yeah.
Is Rochester draft 2, or they do some? Or they?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I think so, but I'm not sure. I also think that's a co-ed league too, though. I thought. No.
I'm honestly not sure. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten more interest in what's going on in the state.
Yeah.
For our co-ed league, I've talked to the president of Franklin, and I think it'd be cool to do like a Franklin versus Nashua game, North and South. Probably after the season would be the most to fit that in. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a really cool idea, even if you almost did it similarly like Merrimack did with the 3 teams. I know you said you don't want to go too crazy with it,
Yeah.
but I think all in like the same day, I think it would be kind of cool. Or maybe 2 teams, but
yeah, just something.
regardless.
I'm loving the expansion of softball in the state.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to bridge the gap. I honestly, the idea came from Merrimack playing Rochester. I'm like, okay, you got Seacoast versus around here. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
We
it
need
is.
to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah. And I would say, from what I've seen on Facebook, what Franklin is doing is pretty cool.
They got a good thing going. I do
Yeah.
want to get Kyle, I believe he's the president. I'd like to get him on the show. I'd like to chat with him.
Yeah.
Sounds like they got some really good ideas. I saw that. I think it's also draft. That league has expanded a lot in the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, I mean, I played a tournament out there. I'm assuming a lot of the people that play in the league. It did feel like a community up there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's what we want to build in Nashua.
Yeah.
We want to get back. We used to be a very cool community, and I felt like we lost that. But I think we can get it back.
I agree. Yeah, because in 2020 is the first year I played there, and I felt like it was at least a little bit like that. Not entirely, but yeah.
It used to be like, I'm not kidding, the parking lot would be full. People didn't want to leave after their games. Things change.
That's how it was in 2020 for the most part, that people just hung out at the field. But I feel like last year, people just left.
Yeah, and there was just so many forfeits on top of it that does hurt a league. Like,
Yeah.
people come to play.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I do want to get into blank versus blank.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you two things. You got to pick one. You got to tell me why.
Okay.
First one. Would you rather play softball or baseball?
Softball. Yeah. It's tough. I loved baseball, but I've come to love softball a little bit more, for sure.
And is it because that you can do more of them, or is it the community, or just in general?
You say because of the community?
Yeah.
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 I agree. You can't. It's tough for the levels that we played baseball at to really have that type of community.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're longer games, so there's not more than one game going on at once at a field. And if there is, that's a 6-hour thing for 3 games, per se.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to softball, you go down to Merrimack, you watch 3 games in a few hours, and there's everybody at the field. I would say the community, for sure.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Here's a tough question we ask every guest at least once this. Tom Brady went to Tampa.
Yeah.
You already knew this was coming?
Yeah, I did.
Patriots haven't been as good as Tampa, obviously. I feel like Brady got everything he wanted. But who's more responsible for the success of the 20-year span of the New England Patriots? Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
I feel like either way it's going to upset people. Either answer. I can't say I'm a big football person.
Okay.
Or I haven't been in the past, more or less recently. I'm going to go Brady.
All right.
I would say coaching has a lot to do with it, though, for sure.
You got to have the quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I always pick Belichick in this question, but I
Yep.
don't disagree with if you don't have the quarterback,
Yeah. Exactly.
you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Would you rather watch movies or television?
Movies. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, here's one I really want to know. This is a wrestling question. I don't know if you're a big fan.
I haven't watched it in quite some time.
That's okay,
Yeah.
because neither of these guys have wrestled recently.
Okay.
John Cena, you can't see me. We've worn the Cena mask on the show before. Or The Rock.
Oh, man. I was obsessed with John Cena.
Okay,
as a kid.
see, that's the generational
difference.
difference. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with John Cena.
He's doing it too. Now he's like he's not just doing wrestling. Like
Yeah.
he's got a TV show now, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I saw that. But I mean, The Rock is doing well too now
Well,
with
yeah.
movies and stuff like that. But that's always how he's been.
If you would have told me The Rock was going to be the biggest movie star in 1997,
Yeah.
I would have been like, what?
Yeah.
But now, like, he's killed it. Now the owner of the XFL, which I can't wait for it to come back.
Right.
Though it might compete with the Free Jacks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in on the New England Free Jacks. That's my team.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can really go back to the XFL if they're competing
Gotcha.
sometimes.
I see.
5-1, baby. Would you rather listen to Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince. Yeah. No real reason. I would say Prince though. Yeah.
I think we said this last week or a couple weeks before. I'd pick Michael Jackson, but Prince did things that no one else did. Like, what was the quote someone said? Eric Clapton said, "How's it?" Someone asked how does it feel to be the best guitarist of all time? And he goes, "I don't know. Ask Prince."
Yeah.
I think Stevie Wonder said when he died, he said, "If Michael Jackson is the king, Prince is the emperor."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, here's a tough one. And I do want to get your take on this.
Okay.
People know where I stand. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
That's Michael Jordan. Yeah. In my opinion. I get both sides. I get both sides for sure, but I'm gonna have to go with Jordan.
Now, I understand he's won more. Do you think Jordan is a better athlete than LeBron?
Maybe not necessarily. I would say LeBron as a person is a lot more off-putting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to root for him.
Okay, so I do want to ask this. He went to the Heat, right?
Yeah.
But he did come back and won Cleveland a championship.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different for him than Jordan because since LeBron was in middle school, everybody told him he was the best.
Yeah.
You know, so that is going to draw an ego.
I get that. Yeah, for sure. That's probably one of the biggest debates I'll ever hear, is those two.
Because I think, okay, so here's the thing. Michael Jordan goes to baseball. He almost makes it.
Mm-hmm.
I think LeBron could have started in the NFL.
Yeah, I would see that. He's definitely built for that.
You know,
Yeah.
do you think Jordan could have played in the NFL?
In the NFL? Probably
think-
not. I don't think so. I don't think he was built for that.
Yeah.
And then again, you'd be surprised. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a great debate. I love the debate. I'm a big Scottie Pippen fan. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And I always feel like when I was growing up, everybody loved Jordan.
Right.
Because that's when the Bulls were. But I had a Scottie Pippen poster on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still bitter to this day that Jordan gets all the credit and Scottie does not.
Yeah.
So, and I will die on that hill for the rest of my life. Scottie Pippen forever. Last question. Toughest one in blank versus blank. I think I already know who you're going to say per our conversation, but you got Maddie P.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather be coached by Maddie P or Jen Spil? She's going to be pissed. I'm going to mess this up again. Spilios. That's how she says it.
Gotcha. I mean, no offense to Jen, but that's not really a question. Matty P for sure.
Yeah. No. So so just to be straight, he's the one that got you into softball.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
So, he great guy. Both great people.
Yeah.
I did enjoy playing for Jen.
Yeah.
She's very laid back. I mean, I know Jen has her moments, but for the most part, she's pretty laid back.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just really close with Matty P too, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But
Yeah.
anyways, Josh, I really appreciate you coming on. This has
Absolutely.
been awesome.
Thank you.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, keep your heads up. Until next time, let freedom ring.